to be making a lemon tart, and where I live, we are entering summer, so this recipe was perfect for that, and it just turned out amazing. It tasted great, so I cannot wait to share this with you. We're going to begin with the ingredients for our sweet tart dough, and we're going to start off with 300 grams of unsalted butter softened, 195 grams of powdered sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 570 grams of all-purpose flour. And baking powder is optional, but we do have 1 teaspoon of that as well. So in my mixer with my pedal attachment, I just creamed the butter and sugar together, and then I blended in one of the eggs and scraped down the bowl to make sure it was thoroughly mixed, and then I added the other egg, and then I mixed that until it was well blended, and then I just added the vanilla and salt. I sifted together the flour and the baking powder, and then I added that to my cream butter mixture, and then I blended that on low speed just until the dough came together. Be careful not to overmix. Then I pressed the dough onto a parchment paper lined sheet pan, covered it with plastic wrap, and then chilled it in the refrigerator for an hour. And then I was ready to use. I rolled out my chilled dough on a lightly floured surface, and I rolled it to a thickness of about a fourth of an inch. The dough may be crumbly and kind of hard to work with, and that is completely normal. If that happens, just press the dough back together with your fingertips, and then once you get that perfect dough, and it's the way you like it, just line your tart pan with the dough. And then I just blind baked my dough, and this was my second part of the dough. I had extra, so I put it in a pie pan, and so that is why it does not look very pretty, because my one in the tart pan was already done and cooling off by this point. But anyways, I just stocked my dough, and then I covered my dough with parchment paper, and then I filled it with rice, so anything like that for like pie weights, so you can use rice or beans. And then I baked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for around 12 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes is an ideal time. And then I removed the weights and paper, and then I docked again if I needed to, and then I put it back in the oven, and then cooked it for another 10 to 15 minutes, or until it was golden brown and fully cooked. And then, of course, you just want to wait till it cools to fill. And now we get to begin on our lemon curd. This recipe can be swapped out for a lime curd. Obviously, just swapping out the lemon juice and lemon zest for some lime juice and lime zest. But anyways, let us begin with the ingredients. We have 120 milliliters of lemon juice or lime juice if you're making a lime curd, and then 195 grams of granulated sugar. We have lemon or lime zest grated fine, and we have 2 teaspoons of that. And then we have 2.5 eggs or 120 grams. And then we have 180 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature. So we are just going to begin the lemon curd making process by combining the lemon juice and 90 grams of the sugar and the zest in a non-reactive saucepan, and we're just going to bring that to a boil. And then we're just going to put the eggs and the remaining sugar in a non-reactive bowl and whisk well without incorporating any air. And then we're going to temper the egg mixture with 1/4 of the boiling juice, and then add the remaining juice. And then we're just going to return that whole mixture back to the saucepan, and then we're going to bring that mixture to a boil while whisking vigorously. And then we're going to continue stirring and boil for 1 minute. After it had finished boiling for a minute, I removed it from the heat and chilled the mixture over an ice bath until the mixture got down to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I just added the butter in 5 parts, beating well with a spatula after each addition. Then I used it immediately to fill my tart pan, and then I covered in that and refrigerated it overnight. And then the next day, I was ready for my final step in completing my lemon tart, and that was the Swiss meringue to top it all off with. So there are only 2 ingredients, very simple. We have 180 grams of egg whites at room temperature, then we had 210 grams of granulated sugar. I combined the egg whites and sugar in a clean, grease-free stainless steel bowl, and then I placed that bowl over a pan of barely simmering water and whisked that until the mixture had reached 160 degrees Fahrenheit. There is a wide range you can go to, from 120 degrees Fahrenheit to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The rule of thumb is the hotter the mixture, the better the peaks, and the stiffer your meringue will be. And obviously you don't want to burn the mixture. Be careful not to burn the heck out of it and get it too hot. And you do want to carefully watch it with the thermometer. But that is a great rule of thumb that the hotter you're able to get it, obviously not past the burning point, the better your peaks will be. And then once the mixture had reached temperature, I removed from the heat and then I whipped the mixture on high speed until stiff peaks formed. And then I just piped my stars all over my tart. It turned out beautiful. I used the broiler in the oven just for a few seconds, literally to brown the tops of my stars, and it turned out gorgeous. And the crust turned out a beautiful golden color. You can tell the lemon curd is the perfect consistency and texture, and it just turned out amazing. It wasn't too overpowering. It was literally the perfect just summer dessert. It was a great treat and one I'll definitely be making again. And I've never made a tart before, so this has definitely got me excited to try all of the other recipes there are out there.